What's up, people? I'm Xogue, and welcome to my world. We're doing things on Empyrion. The 15 tips I think you should know when you're first starting out on Empyrion. Now, the first and foremost, if you do like the video, please do hit that like button and subscribe to see not only the Empyrion series that I have currently going on, but also anything else you're going to find on the channel, which I'm sure there's going to be something you'll like. I would really appreciate it. Also, I would like to thank Ken H and JDK for helping me out with compiling this list of tips for you guys. So I hope you enjoy, I hope you like it, and let's get right to it. Now we're starting off small with this one, but the game does save when you click quit. So you don't need to worry about making a backup unless you actually have a reason to make a backup. Say you're about to attack a base or something and you need to make sure you can get back to a place you're familiar with if something goes tragically wrong. The tutorial is there to help you. First and foremost, underneath the map on the right side of the screen, you're going to see a little checklist of the activated step that you have selected. But if you hit F1, you can easily go in here and change to something else if it is something you want. You see right here, if we click the main header bar, you can activate a chapter. This one's already activated for me. But for example, this one, you see it lights up. Activate chapter. Boom. Now, there you go. Chapter 1. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, they are all here to help you, but don't let it bully you, okay? Do not let it bully you. You can wait to do things, and you can do things over again if you skipped a step. You can always go back and forth. Don't do it just because it's telling you to. Do it when you're ready to do it. While you're playing the game, things will pop up. Tooltips, hints, tricks, whatever, read all of them. Read the things that show up and pop up because they are going to help you out. It's pretty easy to get lost if you don't. But if you do get lost, the F1 menu will help you. Not only is there a tutorial to show you how to work, how to go through things, but there's also single player missions as well that you can go through and experience more fun things. If you go to the constructor and you don't see the item you were trying to craft, be sure to check the tabs. You have weapons and items, building blocks, components, devices, and decoration blocks, all of which can be used to sort different items. This is also sorting options here. You can choose all of the blocks. You can choose only blocks that can go into bases or items that can go into bases, only capital vessels, only small vessels, or only hover vessels. So you got to make sure you choose the right sorting options for whatever item you're trying to craft. And if all else fails, press F3 to get to your tech tree. And make sure you have learned the item if you need to. There are multiple tabs in here as well. Just kind of navigate through and see if you find the item you're looking for. Auto miners are great. Get into them when you can. Now, just to elaborate a little bit, when you start the game, you will be given auto miner cores, and it will take you a little while to get the materials that you need in order to get these guys, but eventually you'll be able to get them, and when you can, do it, because they do not deplete the ore. You see down here, 100% ores left of 67. This guy hasn't been going too long, but it's a little while. We only have one. This one in particular is very terrible because the source quality is only 12%, and that's based on the node you find. So this node is terrible. The only reason I'm actually doing this node with an auto miner is because my base happens to be like 150 meters away. If you're trying to figure out how to use a tool, and this one probably should have gone earlier in the video, right-click gives you more options, including terrain removal for the drill, filler, flattening, stone removal. There's a lot of different things you can do with each tool, except the chainsaw. Chainsaw doesn't have any extra options. When building your own structure, and you're trying to figure out how to reach a certain spot or place a block somewhere in particular, don't forget, you have a drone if you push F5. Now, the cool thing about the drone is you can actually use some tools with it, and this includes building. You can go anywhere you need to go with the drone and build with it, pretty much free and clear. Another tip while building, if you want to know if your building is going to collapse when you build something like this, hold N. Not only can you choose certain symmetry planes to place against, but you can also see the center of mass, for example, which is very useful for vehicles naturally when they move and you don't want them to flip over. And also the structural integrity of something, which their vessels are always red just because they don't attach to anything and they move. But as far as a building is concerned, you see this guy's red, it means it's about to fall. If I try to place another block, I'll probably lose that block. Oh, maybe not yet. Now I will. Oh, wow, you can go pretty far. Whoop, there it goes. And now the whole thing collapses. While placing blocks and planning out your building, don't forget about the right-click menu. And if you choose a wall, you can actually place a wall against the side of a block to increase the amount of hit points that block has. Now down here it wouldn't really cause too much of a difference, but say this was a full block and I were to add a wall to it, they would have to go through a wall and a full block just to break anything inside. When it gets dark in Empyrion, it gets dark. Don't forget your shoulder light by pressing L. Some weapons do have their own flashlight, but the shoulder light's always the best bet. When you can, stock up on Pentaxid, the raw stuff, which used to be called Blue Crystal. The recent update actually changed the name of it, but the progression of gaining Blue Crystal is as follows. On Akua, where you start, well, granted, you can start in other places too, I think, but if you start on Akua and you're just starting out, underwater you can get enough Blue Crystals to get to maybe 1 or 2 planets, but if you really want to get your first batch, make a small vessel and fly to the moon. Akua Moon has batches of it. It's a lot easier to get, and then once you can go up here to the trading outpost, and then over here to Skillin. Skillin has dry basins on the planet that are filled with blue crystals, aka Pentaxid. So go stock up because you need it for your warp drives, and it takes a lot to get to anywhere. While you're flying your vessel, you can get a little bit angled. As you see here, we're a little bit twisted. If you hold O, it will straighten out your ship for you so you won't float and wander while you're not pressing any buttons. Also, if you want to change your view, you press V. And another thing you can learn is if you press Alt while you're flying, just press it, don't hold it, just press it, you can actually spin your camera around. Turn off my helmet. You can spin your camera around and actually get different angles. The other thing you can do while you have Alt already pressed is you can zoom in and out. I said that backwards. You can zoom in and out and set your preference as far as how far back the camera is while you're flying. You press Alt again, it'll snap back, and then you have control of your ship again when you move the mouse. There's a very handy button to know, and that's the P. If you press P on a ship under your control or a base under your control, then you gain access to the control panel. What you can do from the control panel is a few things. Number one, you can access all of the cargo boxes, and access them directly to see what's inside. You can also access all of your fuel tanks, all of your O2 tanks, your warp drive tank, your ammo boxes, everything. And also, if you come to your cargo boxes here, you can go up to the top and actually name them if you want to have some kind of organization. But be sure you press enter afterwards, after you're done typing in the name. Sometimes it doesn't like to save unless you do that. Now, the other thing that's kind of tied in and therefore qualified as the same tip is to bring cores with you. If you bring cores with you when you're attacking a base or some other thing, then you can actually declare the base yours after you destroy that core. You destroy the alien core, put in your core, set it to your faction, and you can very easily loot the entire base from one menu, except the special loot boxes. They don't show up in the control panel. You do have to find those, and you'll kind of learn what they look like once you go through them. And last but not least, as previously mentioned, it gets dark. So, use that. Keep that in mind when you start to make your own ships. And what you can do is place lights on the bottom of them to help you land better. And there you go. There is your 15 different tips for Empyrion if you're just starting out. I hope you found something useful, at least one or two of these things. If you knew them all, thanks for watching. If you didn't know them all, I hope you learned a lot. Thanks for watching. But if you liked the video, don't let that like button get lonely and subscribe to see more. Check out the Patreon and donation links down below. Thank you for watching. Do what you do, and I will see you next time. Peace out, peeps.